So this is just a part of that video discovery, just trying to find out, I guess, what it is you've been doing out here. I'll just let you kind of take it from there.
Okay, Anton, let's walk out this way. You know, I don't want to start off on a bad note with you, but I'm a little bit irritated. I knew you wanted to do an interview, but contacting me this morning I think was a little inappropriate, and that you should, you know, as a professional, you should be careful of these responsibilities. And I already talked to you about the attitude that you need to show while you're here. You say this is, you know, cults have been popularized and they've been made laughable out in society. And you came here and you said you were going to do a serious documentary covering responsible cultism in the United States. And that's what you're going to see today. You're going to see a responsible cult. And by the way, we're the only cult that doesn't have a written creed. We're a democracy. You help decide which belief systems that we follow. You can even individualize those belief systems in believing what you want as opposed to what the cult wants you to believe. That's how liberal we are. So right off in the front, that's full disclosure there as to what you're getting.
Okay. Could you show us these structures a bit?
Yeah, so first of all, I want to show you the first structure, I call it. It's called that because it was the first structure constructed here in Prototopia.
I'll get some wider shots of that.
It's quite a large structure. In this particular case, this was actually a signature structure that, owing to my architecture degree that I got from Wild Bill Righteousness, our patron saint, I took his hex design structure and I built this structure. It was influenced by two dominant themes. One was the hex shape, but secondly, I've always been attracted to Pizza Hut structures. And I was able to merge the two together with a structure that is unique, mystical, and certainly an appropriate place to begin a cult. There's no question about that in my mind. And if you want, we can walk over and go in. If people want to watch, you are allowed into that area.
Well, I mean, you know, to be perfectly frank, it's interesting, but I've heard much about the center temple structure. I think that more has a...
After the first structure was built, people of less faith, people of less devotion to art, would probably have finished the first structure over there before initiating a second structure. But I need to tell you the psychology of the situation. I only had one follower at that time. And I thought, if we did not keep the building initiative going, that there would not be a second structure. So in a sense, I sacrificed the structural integrity, you know, the fundamental design characteristics on the first structure so that I could move on to the second structure, which is certainly a miracle structure if you get close. You see that I have a pyramid, and the pyramid, of course, closely relates us to the New World Order. Also the Enlightenment, directly back to Thomas Jefferson and other individuals that were the founding fathers of this country.
Well, in our written verbal agreements before, you know, you agreed to allow me to be the videographer. You did promise access into the temple structure.
We're building a bond of trust. I'm going to trust you if this is a test trust case. Either you're going to be trustworthy in this case or you're not, and I'm going to know it. I'm telling you, the name, the platinum membership name for this structure is the Proto-Simplex. And I named that after a famous German physicist that's claimed that the simplest particle was a proto-simplex. Heinrich Heim, the father of Heim physics, that would have revolutionized Einstein's theory of the world if he hadn't been killed. He was killed with his manuscript in his hand. He actually died in a Nazi armaments factory. But anyway, this structure, once again, I'm going out on a great ledge of trust here with you, because I don't tell everyone the secret names to these structures. This structure is called the Prototopetarium. The thing was, I did something with this structure.
Bob, I'm going to pause it for a second. We'll be able to, go back and edit this as you want. I mean, you're the one who did the, quest a videographer. I just wanted to have a, off-camera discussion with you. All right, we're back.
Something else I said to you is never leave that camera not running, because you will not get a successful version of what you're looking for if you do that. But I was telling you about this structure. I bastardized William Mr. Righteousness architecture by taking the basic hex design and then expanding on the hex design, which really makes the fundamentally structurally sound hex fundamentally unsound. So this structure was unsound from its beginning. And that's why it blew down 3 times. It blew down 3 times, but you know what? I anticipated that it would blow down, and you know what? Matt Sargent, who helped me with the proto-simplex, who came over here and selflessly helped me with the proto-simplex. And later on with this structure, I knew if I didn't start him on the second structure, he would eventually ask me what the first structure was for.
I thought Sargent didn't want you using his name in this project anymore.
You mean Sargy?
Sargy. Sorry.
Right, we refer to him as Sargy.
Remember, we can edit this stuff out.
Anyway, I suspected that he was finally gaining the insight that he really didn't know what the purposes for these structures were, and I was certainly not at liberty to tell him what these structures were for. This structure here.
Well, I feel like we're skating around the issue. I mean, you promised me entry into this structure.
This is the Prototopetarium. Inside this structure is the world's largest rat and hamster laboratory. And we use it for experimental research. It's essentially a livestock computer that we've got going there. It's going 24 hours a day. And the calculations that can go on in a rat's gray matter is twice that of a human, because they have twice the neuronal density. So consequently, if you give the rats the right path, the right networks, and you set them loose on the right problem, like a computer, they will solve it for you. Some of the deepest questions about prototopia were resolved by using this experimental lab facility here. But for that reason, you cannot enter. It's purely prototopic, premier platinum membership that allows you to go in this structure.
If you wanted someone who's just going to be your stepping stone, I mean, you should have hired one of the other people that you were looking at. I'm not here to make a half-assed look into this cultural emergency response system that you're setting up.
This structure's door has been welded on to the front of the structure. So I'm not talking about a simple psychological reason why you can't enter. It's physical. Unless we had crow bars, which I didn't bring today, and I think, you call yourself a competent videoteer, and here you come, you don't even have a crowbar. You're not supplied with the tools that's going to make it possible for you to correctly videotape this place.